we get started this evening, our first order of business is to welcome our newly elected members to the board. Clint Moses, Chris Freeman, and even though he's a new member, congratulations, Dave Steyer.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 3, roll call and quorum. Jamie, please take the roll.
Penny Burstead.
Here.
Chris Freeman.
Here.
Heather Kleinerman.
Here.
Clint Moses.
Here.
Dan Paulson.
Here.
Amy Riddle Swanson.
Here.
David Steyer.
Here.
Jim Swanson.
Here.
Trish Thompson.
Here.
Okay, we have everyone present. We have a quorum to conduct business. At this time, we'll begin the election of board officers, starting with the position of school board president. Are there any nominations for president?
I nominate David Steyer for president.
Are there any other nominations for president?
And I nominate Amy Riddle Swanson.
Are there any other nominations for president? Any other nominations? Last call, any nominations? Angus?
Motion to close nominations.
Okay, at this time we will pass around ballots.
Do I have to be a second on the motion?
Is there a second to close nominations?
I'll second.
I don't think that one.
Well, we do have one.
I don't know.
Made a motion to close and then seconded by, so Chris did or anything.
Let's take a vote to close the nominations. We'll do a voice vote. All in favor of closing nominations, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, nominations are now closed. Now we will pass around the ballots. Please write one name, either David Steyer or Amy Riddle Swanson.
Thank you.
That's 5 for Amy and 4 for Dave.
Okay.
Okay, that just means I can take over. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so next we need to elect the vice president. Any nominations for vice president? Heather,
Nominate David Steyer for vice president.
any other nominations? Jim,
I'll nominate Trish Thompson for vice president.
any other nominations? Any other nominations? Last call, any other nominations? Okay, do you have a motion to close nominations? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Let's vote. Sorry. Together.
5 votes for Tricia and 4 votes for David.
Okay. Congratulations, Tricia. Okay, next would be treasurer. Any nominations for treasurer? Tricia? Dave? Okay. Dave for treasurer. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations?
I move to close nominations.
Second, any second?
I move to close nominations.
Okay. I have a motion to close nominations.
And can I add, make a unanimous voice vote for David?
Okay. All right, so a motion has been made to close nominations as well as to just, since he's the only nomination, to elect David as treasurer. All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, David. Okay, next would be the clerk. Penny,
I nominate Heather Kleinerman.
any other nomination? Daniel?
I nominate Jim Swanson. Jim Swanson.
Okay. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay, let's vote.
I move to close nomination.
Okay, thank you.
I'll say.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor, sorry.
Aye.
No.
Get on it. That's 5 votes for Jim and 4 votes for Heather.
Jim, okay, congratulations. Okay, next, item B under the action agenda, approved committee assignments of board members. There is a list of people who had assignment before, and then there's a new list with blank that is ready to be filled in. So, is there anyone that would like to volunteer for any of those things, starting with the Health Medical Insurance Committee rep? Was Jim before?
If anybody else wants to do it, otherwise we do it again.
Should we maybe say what the expectations or responsibilities are? So the Health Medical Insurance Committee member comes to the meetings when staff meet with our insurance consultant. It's usually about 3 times a year, 3 or 4 times, typically Thursday afternoons around 4 o'clock.
I would probably be a good resource for it. However, I have conflict of interest with the self-insured with the medical plan. I'm I think one of 2 in-network providers for that, so that's the only issue I'd have with volunteering for that.
Thank you.
Otherwise, I know a lot about it.
Anyone else want to?
What's your conflict again?
I'm an in-network provider for the school's self-insured plan, so it's in excess of $15,000.
Anybody else? Okay, I guess you have it, Jim. Okay, next, high school graduation delegates. This would be, we need 3. This would be handing out diplomas at graduation, which is what day this year?
June 2nd,
June
2
2nd.
o'clock, Mr. Munoz?
That's gonna be for the next academic year though, right? Or is it this year?
This would be
This
for,
is coming up.
Next
Yeah,
year.
next year, yeah.
Not this.
No, this year,
Yeah.
this June 2nd.
No,
No.
Yes, this June 2nd.
Oh, you're just miscommunicating. She's saying this year's June 2nd, but we're going for next year, we're going to today this year.
yeah, we do.
We don't have anyone that's scheduled to be for this June, do we?
No, because this June, John Sabota would be on the list. It was Penny, John, and Heather. That was from last year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
so
it'll be this next June.
Okay.
So this school year's graduation.
Yeah, because we're new board, so.
I'm available, so I'd be willing to do it again, unless you've got family.
No, that's fine. I got a niece that's graduating.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, so David and Penny so far. Anybody else? Dan? Okay, so Dan, Penny, and David. Never mind, okay. So we have Penny and David, right?
I'll do it.
Okay, Clint? Okay, and then we need an alternate. All right, Chris, you can be the alternate. Great, thank you. Get those? Yep. Thank you, Jamie. Okay, next is the TIF review board rep. Would you like to explain that, Dr. Joe?
Who was the outgoing?
I don't.
Did you meet this
We
last year?
didn't even meet. We haven't, I think we met for 2 years.
No, I took your place one year.
That's right.
Oh, because my name was still up there, but, okay. So
Yeah, because you couldn't make it, and I.
Oh, that's right, okay, yeah, that is fine. But anyway, a TIF district, if you're not familiar, it's a economic development district, and it somewhat affects the district's finances, so we have a seat on the board, and I think once a year they have to meet and review the plans or something. Yeah, so it's, you basically show up and vote yes and look at the plans and leave. It's pretty, I mean, doesn't require a lot of thought or effort.
Dan?
Yeah, and Joe, do you know, are there any TIF districts still functioning?
I believe there are. I don't know of any new ones that are up for vote right now, though.
Actually, they're thinking about adding a new one because it's development by the middle school.
Okay.
I read that in the paper a little bit ago, but I don't know if we've got around to doing it yet.
Okay.
But there's like 16 of them in this city.
So the point is, it's periodic. It really comes at the city's request.
Anyone want to? In case it does come up? Dan? Okay, thank you. Okay, next would be the convention delegate for CISA. Was Penny?
It was one meeting in Turtle Lake, and I'm willing to do it again if no one else wants it, so.
Okay. Anyone else care to do it? Okay, Penny.
All right.
It's you. Thank you. Okay, and the next, WASB convention delegates, we need an actual delegate and then an alternate in case the delegate cannot make it. And just for somebody that wants to understand what that is, some of the new people, is there are resolutions that come out in September. Anybody can, in a school board, can do a resolution for a school board, and hopefully what happens is the resolutions are voted on and can be passed on to the legislature, but doesn't always mean that it gets there. But the responsibility of the delegate would be to go to that meeting at the state convention in Milwaukee in January, and it takes about a half day. It's about a 1 o'clock to about a 4 or 5 o'clock afternoon commitment, and they go and they read through all of them and they vote and do discussion and all of that kind of thing. It's kind of a cool way to get your feet wet in governance. I've done it before. Anybody that's willing to do that would like to put their name out there.
The convention's January 22nd through the 24th in Milwaukee.
Well, I did it last year, and I mean, you really gotta like policy and parliamentary procedure. It's a whole lot of that in there. So if no one else wants to, I'd be willing to do it again.
Anyone else want to do it?
You want to do it?
Okay. Who would like to be an alternate?
And if you want to do it, go for it. I'll just be alternate.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna do it, Dan? Okay, and Jim's an alternate? Okay. Thank you. Okay, transportation contract rep. David, you've done this in the past, you've done a good job, you want to keep it?
I'd like to.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, it's yours, David. Okay, and then the Quality Improvement Committee, what this is called, it's long for QIC. QIC meets 4 times during the year, and sometimes a special meeting might be called, depending on what's going on. This is for the teachers and staff to meet. There's 2 different meetings. One is for hourly employees, one is for teachers. And the person that sits on that is just there to listen, not necessarily add anything or anything like that, but just to listen to what the teachers' concerns are and just kind of be there as a board representative. Joe facilitates the meetings, and there's usually an agenda, and the meetings are quarterly, and they meet, I think 2:30 is in the afternoon is the hourly, and then at 4 o'clock is the teacher one. So if anyone wants to do that, I've done it before, and I wouldn't mind doing it again, but if somebody else wants to have a chance to do that, I'd be happy to let them do it. Okay, you can put me down, because nobody's speaking up. Anybody else? We need one other person.
I can usually clear my schedule. If nobody else wants to do it.
Okay.
It'd be fine to do it.
Okay, so thank you, Penny. Okay, and last, but certainly not least, diversity committee. And that meets 4 times a month?
Quarterly.
Quarterly, okay. And that is a committee made up of teachers, staff, and is it 1 board member or 2? 2, I see, it's 2 on there. 2 board members that are represented, and those meetings are usually around 4:30 or something like that on Mondays, I think.
Kind of varies.
Yeah, usually it's on a Monday afternoon, but it kind of varies based on people's schedules. And like the QIC, it wouldn't have to be 2 board members. I think last year we had more, we had a lot of interest.
Okay.
But it is very nice to have at least 1 board rep.
Well, I would like to stay in there. We've got a lot of stuff that is going to carry over to next year, and so.
I would too.
Okay, and Dave, anyone else? Wait for it? Okay. Thank you. Okay, so that takes care of the committee assignments, and Jamie, I'm sure that you'll take care of it and send that out to us. Absolutely. So that we're all reminded of what we signed up for. Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, and then we need to appoint a deputy clerk, which will be Jamie. And we have to do the appointment of deputy clerk. So,
Appoint Jamie as second clerk.
I'm sorry.
I move to appoint Jamie as deputy clerk.
All right.
I'll second.
Second, okay, second. All right. Voice vote for Jamie to be deputy clerk.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, great. Okay, just so everybody knows, she is kind of the person, she's the administrative secretary to Joe, so she does all the setting out of board docs, and if you have any questions or concerns or something doesn't look right, she's the person to contact, she's the troubleshooter, she'll make sure everything goes smoothly and that kind of thing. Those are her duties, and you can read them right here in the appointment of the clerk right on the board docs. Okay, so I guess you need to read your.
There's a, Jim, you can sign, we'll sign it afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got a thing that I just.
Okay,
sign it.
okay, good. Okay,
Sign
perfect.
afterwards.
All right, thank you. So that's done. Okay, thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate it. Okay, and then we need to set date and venue for the annual meeting. And that's usually the last Monday in August. August 26th.
6 o'clock. So the recommendation is to have the annual meeting at the high school in the tiered lecture hall, 6 o'clock p.m. on Monday, August 26th.
I'll make a motion to hold the annual meeting and budget hearing at August 26, 2019 at 6 p.m. in the tiered lecture hall in the basement.
I'll second.
Thank you, Penny. Any discussion on that? Okay. I have a question. Are we still going to meet at 5:30?
Typically, we actually meet at 5, depending on the agenda for the committee
Okay.
meeting.
Okay, so it would be at 5, and we would meet in the library,
Right.
and then go on to the annual meeting.
But that posting would be done later.
Okay, okay, well, I just wanted to make sure, just to make sure that we were also meeting at night. Okay, all right, all in favor for that? Meeting to be on August 26th?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, and then establish starting times for the board meetings and the committee of the whole meetings. Any desire to move from 5:30? Dan?
I move we continue to meet at 5:30.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Who seconded that?
Penny.
Hey. All right. Any discussion? Further discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So now I need a motion to adjourn the reorganization part of the night.
Well, I move that we adjourn the reorganization part.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the meeting is adjourned. Okay, we need to take a break at all? Okay.